Hello, I'm Wes Salmon, lead game designer here at Zwift, and welcome to the World of Zwift.
Hello and welcome to the World of Zwift, your number one stop for training, updates, workouts, racing, and everything else in between that is happening right now on Zwift. So let's see what we've got on the show today. The living god king of coaches, Shayne Gaffney, is here to tell us all about the new workout of the week. We cover all the latest action from the ZRL with Matt Stevens. You'll get to see part one of our brilliant Team Aeonian story. I shall jump into the lab to test out some more hot bike stuff. There's more A to Zwift. What the gel? Well, that's back in the feed zone. And the first woman to ride 100,000 kilometers on Zwift, that is Sharron Yaxley, takes us on a Rider Recon, which is not 100,000 kilometers, I hope. Whilst you're here, why not like? Why not subscribe? Why not click the notification bell so that you can get instant updates whenever a brand new episode is live? It's as simple as clicking below. It'll take you just a few microseconds, I promise. And as you do that, I'll practice my brand new hypnosis technique to see if that helps. Whoa, sorry, blacked out for a second there, blacked out. What happened? Okay, right, let's get on with the show. Oh my word, we've got plenty going on this week in the world of Zwift. Ride Like King is back for its 13th year with the festivities kicking off on the 14th of May. Now this event is a celebration of Giant founder King Liu's 927-kilometer ride around Taiwan in 2007 when he was 73 years old. This celebration is for Zwifters of all levels to get involved with, and every 1,300 kilometers reached during the events, Giant will donate 2 Buffalo bikes to World Bicycle Relief. So get clocking up those kilometers. The Power Up Tri podcast is back with another great episode. Join Matt Lieto and Sarah True to banter about all things swimming with 2 of the most charismatic names in triathlon. Tower 26 founder Jerry Rodriguez and Tower 26 coach Jim Lubinsky. And Jerry and Jim share their years of coaching knowledge, and they discuss why they don't do 6-week plans. Race day 1 of Giant Crit Crushers landed with a bang, and 6 intrepid Zwifters from across the world took part on our behalf. 2 quick races back to back, first on Three Bridges Loop and next on Paris. You can join in on Thursday, May the 13th for the next set of these short, sharp races. Now, who spotted this at the Giro d'Italia on Saturday? World hour record holder, Team Quebecer ASOS rider, and all-round wattage monster Victor Campenaerts, who brought his pre-race warm-up into Utopia just moments before taking the start ramp of the Stage 1 time trial in Turin. And the best bit was, well, we could all join him. 15 minutes of dialed-in warm-up was exactly what I needed to then sit back, relax, maybe open a beer, and watch the man himself in action. Thank you, Victor. And remember, if you want to get involved in anything you've seen here, all the links will be in the description below. Well, look who's back. Expert coach Shayne Gaffney is back to let us know all about the latest workout of the week, which is called 2x2, and my word, it looks right up my street.
This week's workout is 2x2. After a warm-up, we head into 4 reps of 2 minutes on and 2 minutes off. The work intervals will leave a sting since they build up from zone 5 to zone 6. Zone 5 is also called your VO2 max zone, and zone 6 is also called your anaerobic capacity zone if we're referencing Andy Coggan's zone system. Spending time working in these specific zones is a good way to stimulate either. This workout is focused on improving your anaerobic capacity or your ability to make repeated hard surges with minimal recovery, which is crucial for Zwift racing or any really hard repeated effort, like in a group ride, especially when you're going up the side of the volcano.
Time for another hot bike stuff now, and I've been scouring the globe for the greatest indoor riding accessories, whether that's testing the best indoor riding shoes from Nike and Adidas or tracking my sleep and recovery. No gadget is safe from these hands, and today I have managed to get these hands on something that is currently selling out faster than package holidays to Greece. So let's get on with the unboxing, because inside this quite average cardboard box you will find the Foothills Trainer Tray. Now it might just look like any old piece of kit, but when you're on the turbo, you need things around you. You need your phone, you maybe need a drink, you maybe need your headphones, maybe a pen and paper, who knows? But how do you connect something to your bike? Well, if you've got a Garmin mount, you use one of these. How useful is it? Well, let's take it to the lab and try it out. I've mounted the bike and I've also mounted the bike, and it's time to try out the Foothill Trainer Tray. It just clips in to your Garmin mount like thus, and you have places to place things, such as phone, remote, headphones, gel, your keyboard so I can praise and also maybe criticize people, a brace of pineapples, and a tasty mid-ride snack. So when you're on the turbo, in the middle of something, having a tray like this that fits in so beautifully is a wonderful thing. We've all been in that position where you're desperately in the middle of a race or a session trying to pick your phone or a gel or your water bottle up off the floor, and this is a wonderful solution for it. The only criticism I'd say is, A, it's a Garmin mount, so if you've got a Wahoo, it's going to be sideways, and B, it's a 3D printed base, which isn't the most secure of connections. And I think if you're really giving it some, whatever you've got on there is going to fall off. But the guy who makes them is changing that. So in the next couple of months, this will be a secure locking mechanism. So yeah, the Foothills Trainer Tray, I think I'm going to give it a kiss. Mwah. Well, that tasted of pineapple. We've got another amazing A to Zwift for you now, so sit back, relax and enjoy. Unless you're on a stool, in which case don't sit back, just relax and enjoy.
M is for meetups. Can't find an event you want to ride with your buddies? Well, hey, make your own. Using the Zwift Companion app, head to events, meetups, and then click through the menu and choose a date, time, and route you want to ride with your buddies. You can invite any Zwifters who follow you to your meetup. And you can choose if you want to keep everyone together or make it a race. I like a race. Ride with everyone else in the world of choosing as normal. Or create a private event and have the entire world to yourself with just you and your friends. Just make sure you drop everyone a message so they know the rules.
Back without any popular demand, it's my favorite fuel-based entertainment item called What the Gel. To paraphrase my favorite noughties girl group, I don't think I'm ready for this jelly. I don't think I'm ready for this jelly. I don't think I'm ready for this jelly.
My jelly's too bootylicious.
Ah, there's the gel. Oh, it's a little stubby one. Handy for one hand. Let's take a squirt. Here it goes. Ugh, that is gelatinous. And thick and heavy. And it's got, that has got a coffee stop vibe about it. That is espresso? Is that espresso? Maybe espresso martini? What are we saying? Espresso love. Don't we all love espresso? Espresso love. Close-ish, I'll say. I quite like that. I quite like that. It's like a cross between a cake and a coffee. So I'm going to give that a solid 8 out of 10. There it is. Here we go. Take a squirt. Ah, God. Oh, my word. It's one of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth. A fruity taste to it. There was some fruit there. I'm going to say that was cherries. Was it something to do with cherries? A cherry cake? A cherry bakewell, maybe? Was cherry bakewell? Okay. Now, unfortunately, it's also very sweet. All gels are sweet. I liked that. I don't think I'd have more than one, but nobody has more than one. I'm going to score that 7.5 out of 10. Coming in there like a bat out of gel. Let's take a shot of this. Oh my God. Oh! Oh, I mean, it's not as sweet as the other ones. I mean, all gels are sweet. Oh, it had sort of like a, I don't know, like a savory edge to it. Something like a vegetable medley. Is it vegetable medley? Salted watermelon. Is that a thing? Oh, it is. I ate salted watermelon once, didn't I? Oh my God, that's disgusting. Ah, it's like being on a beach where everyone hates you. Everyone hates you. Everyone hates you. Everyone hates you. Not sure about that. Not sure about that at all. I'm going to give that a 4 out of 10 maybe. 5. I'll go 5 out of 10 for that actually. And now, feeling completely vomitous, that was what the gel. Nurse! So, if you want to torture me with your favourite flavour of gel, or maybe even a ride feel, then let me know in the comments below and we'll give it a go in the feed zone at a later date. Stick around because we've got lots more exciting content on the way for you. Matt Stevens, Team Aeonian and a recon of next week's ZRL course. Team Aeonian, well, they smashed onto the scene during ZRL Season 1, where they gained podium positions across the board just days after forming as a team. They're an inclusive, all-female team who cater to racers from categories A through to D, and co-founders Carla Williams and Jamie Lee Wright are here to tell us about their journey.
I joke that I grew up in a field. My mum was super outdoorsy. I left home when I was 16, so my time was very much spent on studying and making some money. I'm an accountant by trade. I'm not a fan of being sat behind my desk all day.
I started really getting into cycling around 6-7 years ago, and 5 years ago I discovered Zwift. Before I started Zwifting, I was just leisuring, cycling in the countryside with my husband. Then I discovered a group of ladies, they like riding in town, and my husband pushed me to, go with them and see how you get on. And ever since, I didn't stop. I bought a new bike and I started cycling with them every weekend.
I moved to Bermuda when I was 27, and it gave me a different lease of life. I was able to be outside all year round, started running. And from there, I ended up running several marathons and ultra marathons and getting a bike as cross training. That was the point where I got hit by a car. Myself and my partner were riding down a hill in Bermuda, and a car came out of a driveway on the left-hand side, took my riding partner out, broke her leg. She had some head injuries, and I smacked straight into the side of the car, head on. Very grateful to be alive. Couldn't really walk very far or speak at that point in time. Bought my own Zwift trainer, joined a team, started using it as my specific workout. So I would go ride on the road for fun, and then I would do my intervals and my specific training on Zwift.
After having my child, I had a very difficult delivery and pregnancy, so cycling did help me to get back into shape and get stronger because it was very difficult.
I met Carla just after the accident. There was a Facebook group about finding a team, so it kind of was all coincidental timing.
Jamie Lee and we come through many years, so yeah, I will say that she's one of my closest friends and is somebody that I can, trust, and she's got my back.
Carla is very driven, but then she's also very shy and reserved at times. I'm also quite shy, and we almost need each other to sometimes push the boundaries. Individually, we're scared to do that, but together we're able to move forward.
Jamie has experience as a racer with the Pro AMs, and myself as a race director. Combining our experiences, we came to the same goal.
We were talking about what do we want to do in the future? What are we looking for? What are we training for? And one of the things that came up was we felt there was a need for a specific team where we were catering to everybody to race, creating that space for ladies across all categories to be able to have that race focus.
Amazing stuff. Make sure you tune in next week to hear how Team Aeonian came about and what their goals are for the future. This week's ZRL saw a thrilling, and I mean thrilling, points race up the cobbled climbs. Let's see first how the women got on.
We're heading to the cobbled streets of Richmond for another points race.
She's going to be able to take maximum points here on Livy Hill. Curie now over the top here. 8.6 kilometres done, and we've only got around 19 riders in this group.
Larson holds on. That's a great job by the Swedish Zwifter. Who back left with Curie, all accelerating to the line here.
Nelson now attacking on the front. Three separate races going on. The gap is holding steady now at 55 seconds. Larson's going to take maximum points again. Kuczynski here, big move. The gap now 12 seconds. This is looking good now. 13 riders left in the mix.
Lethbridge opening up the gap.
Catherine Curry is closing. Alice Lethbridge, an absolutely scintillating victory here. Blanket finish for second place. We've been treated to some of the best Zwift racing I've seen in a long time.
You'll probably think what I'm thinking right there. What the Zwift? Whoa, what racing. Anyway, let's take a look at all the action in the men's.
Week 5, the cobbled streets of Richmond.
5 laps out here for a little more than 46k. It's a hefty serving of pain.
Kirkmare just got it on the line.
Edfield out of Canada. He might scoop up the top points here.
Freddie Ovett putting the hurt on these riders. Some big damage already on lap number 1.
7 points there for Brandland. Lionel Viassen, the Duck out of Belgium, is attacking, picking up 7 points there.
Viassen making it 2 from 2. We only have 39 riders in this front. Power, who took the win, the Belgian from Segerbrook.
Levinson has hit out with authority.
How often do you see a gap in Zwift racing of 20 seconds for one solo
Never.
rider? Giennes of Callas takes maximum points. Power goes. Brandland not too far behind. The closing is Ovett. There's going to be a photo finish on the line.
Chell Power taking the win and the 50 points that goes with it.
What a superb race that was.
Time now to dig into the most recent round of ZRL races. And the man who was calling the action is Matt Stevens. Matt, what action we had going on in that round?
It's brilliant. I mean, when I saw that we had 5 laps of that cobble climb circuit, it's one of my favourite circuits just to ride on Zwift. I thought it was going to be special, but the way the riders set about the racing was, well, it's vintage. It really was, but absolutely brutal at the same time. It had everything. 2 real exciting races, really attritional races. And I think myself, Hannah and Dave, Anna Rassan all agreed that that's some of the best racing we'd ever seen. I'm still physically and mentally drained, OJ.
So let's talk through the men's race first, which had attacks all over the place. The first one I want to ask you about is Freddie Ovett. You love to see the way he raced. It was aggressive, it was exciting, he was trying everything. Was it smart racing?
That's an interesting one. I think you could look at it 2 ways. He clearly, wore his heart on his sleeve. He kind of laid his cards on the table. I mean, and let's be honest, we haven't seen Freddie Ovett, relatively speaking, has been quite quiet in the previous rounds, not been quite the same animator that we saw in season 2, but he really started out hot, was attacking. A couple of the times he was actually making it hard on governors after not actually sprinting on Libby's. So he seemed to be trying to whittle the race down, thin it out. And then fell short at the end. So there's lots of different ways to look at it. I think it was entertaining, brave, brave, kind of passionate, old-fashioned racing. But if you were to look at it with a really analytical and critical eye, maybe he did do just a little bit too much.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because he didn't win the race. The race, as we saw, was won by Chell Power of Finesse. That attack with 500 metres to go, it seems, and we're going to talk about the winners' race in a second, was the right move. That seemed like the smart place to go on governors.
We've seen the few races that I've commentated on that have gone up governors and finished on that interminably long finishing straight. We saw Dan Fleeman go long, and in previous women races, they've always gone long. It's a classic place to go on the steepest section with still about 200, 300 metres of the climb to go. That seems like the place to go. But, when Chell Power went, I thought, well, that's a little bit early, but he timed it to absolute perfection. But importantly, he didn't do a lot earlier on. He saved his energy. Remember, there was 15 climbs and over 2,000 feet of elevation crammed into an hour.
It was great to watch. It was great to listen to. It is with governors. It always seems to get longer every time you ride it, especially on multi-lap races. It just seems to extend into the distance, doesn't it? And if we're going to talk about exciting racing, let's talk about the women's. Kristen Kulczynski, Beth MacGyver, they went for it from a way out. For a while, I thought that was sticking.
Yeah, well, it took him a while to get established. It was Kulczynski who actually attacked with a lap to go on governors, wasn't it? She just pushed on. It wasn't a big explosive move. She just drove it hard in that kind of characteristic style that she has. Such a big engine. Drew MacGyver with her. And it took a while, maybe 2 or 3 Ks for them to extend it past 5 seconds. But then they got up to nearly 20 seconds. It looked like it was going to stick. But they got caught on the final climb of governors. And then we saw Alice Lethbridge with that big move. That was a superb attack. But the last few hundred meters, I did think that Catherine Curry was going to overhaul her. But Lethbridge, again, had timed it to perfection. And we know that Hainaut have dominated over the last couple of seasons. But when you look back in terms of individual points race wins, this is the first for a long time for Hainaut, so an important one.
So why do you think that is? Normally because Hainaut are riding by as a team, they just understand that collecting points all over the place is better for them. Or was this just a standout performance?
Generally, the way that they ride is not necessarily to win individually, it's just to make sure they pack riders near the front. And they did it, reasonably well this time, but it was a clear opportunity for somebody like Lethbridge to go clear because it was a race for the survivor today. It really was absolutely brutal and suited her down to the ground. But you've got to credit the way that she timed that attack.
Got to credit all the riders for that. 5 laps of one of the hardest courses on Zwift. Now let's talk about eyes, Matt Stevens. Let's talk about eyes. Nobody likes their eyes stinging. So when you're sweating, how do you stop your eyes stinging? How do you do that, Matt? How would you do it?
You could use one of these.
Oh, yes. Look at that. I love a headband. I'm a big fan. That is an old classic. Look at that. You've got the hair to go with it as well. Is he a cyclist? Is he a 70s tennis pro? Is his name Bjorn Borg? We don't know. But I would like to call you, Matt, my headband hero. How many do you own and do you wear them when you're Zwifting?
I do wear them when I'm Zwifting. And I've got 3. This one I'm wearing now. I'll go through them if we've got the time.
Yeah, we've got time.
This is an original Nalini Castorama headband as worn by the Castorama team in 1992. But it does its job. Function number 1, it looks crazily cool.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Number 2, it keeps the sweat out of my eyes. And it just gives me, because I know I look good on the bike, it gives me another couple of watts, I reckon, OJ.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
I've got this one as well. Russ Downing gave me this one from 1995, as worn by Malcolm Elliott.
Oh, look at that one. A big old Chevrolet on the front.
The only thing with this one, it's lost a little bit of its elasticity. So it's the one I wear less frequently, but it's still super stylish.
Can we have the third one? Might as well. We're in it.
Is this was the Down at Russ and Dean Downing, big fans and supporters of the Zwift. DCG. This is super thick, but let's just whack this one on. It's actually gone grey because I put it in a dark wash by accident, but look at that.
They are great headbands. Matt Stevens there, who is our headband hero. And if you've got a great headband, I want to see the photos of them. Stick them on Instagram for us. Tag them with hashtag #GoZwift. Matt Stevens, it's been an absolute pleasure. We're not going to see you for a few weeks, so have fun on your travels in Italy, and we'll see you when you're back.
Thank you. Take care. Thanks very much.
It was the final stage of the first ever virtual Tour de France last year, and now it's appearing in the ZRL. I sent out the first woman to hit 100,000 kilometres on Zwift, the brilliant Sharron Yaxley, to give us a Rider Recon of, wait for this pronunciation, Champs-Elysees. I think that's right.
Welcome to Paris. So the Paris course has quite a long lead-in, 3.2 kilometres to be precise. This course was launched in June 2020 to host the final stage of the first ever virtual Tour de France. So the course was designed to mimic the Champs-Elysees, the cyclists that's best known as the finish of the Tour de France. So 1.3k in, still got 1.9k left of the lead-in. There's a tiny microsecond of 7%. So lighter riders will need to push harder down there to keep up with the pack. The heavier riders will need to push harder to keep up with the light riders up this section. As we turn right up here, you'll see the start and finish banner for the route, and that's where lap 1 will commence. And it's also where the race will finish at the end of 6 laps. Now for me, I find this probably the hardest section of the ride. It is a steady climb ahead. It gets up to about 3%. And this will be a strategically important section. It's where moves and attacks will get made. My strategy will be not to sprint each lap because I will need my legs for the final lap. And we enter the easier part of the course now because we would have a slight downhill. At some point there may be a group that will make a breakaway. Do you want to go with them? Do you want to sit back? I like to have a crack at going with them. If there's at least 5 or 6. I also think about what power up I'd like to have at the end of the event. In my case, I prefer feathers and helmets, but remember, never use a feather if there's a downhill section. So, in the final lap, we're assuming at the moment that the breakaway, and I imagine that any minute somebody will go for the sprint. Now I need to wind up. I take a bit longer to wind up, so don't have those fast twitch fibres. I have a feather. So, let's go for it. Okay, here goes Sharron. I'm pretty sure I won because I can't see anyone around me. Woo! Champagne. Cheers. With champagne everywhere.
And that is it for another cracking show. Let us know in the comments below if you've got involved in anything you've seen on the show this week. And if you'd like to, please give us some recommendations for amazing gadgets you've come across and even your favourite indoor riding fuels that I shall then try. And with that, we'll see you next time. Until then, ride on.